He took your bet.
Tom Lucier is in the house.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I love this idea.
What we have, we reviewed an old comic from the 70s, right? And we kind of compared it to the new comics from the Zeros or whatever they're called.
Which book was that?
Guardians
Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, all right.
So anyway, I've got a quote here by Bob Razakis, okay? He's the writer of...
I think it's Rozakis.
Razakis, okay.
Yeah,
he's the writer of
Greek.
Amazing Man and a couple other 80s comics, okay? He's got a little quote to say. He says, if you go back and look at some of the stuff that was published in the 1960s, you'll find that there's stories that have more words on a single page than a lot of comics published today have in a 22-page story. So basically... things have changed, and we read that old comic, and for all your criticisms, when you read that comic, you had a complete story. You walked away, it stuck to your ribs, and nowadays...
I think part of that meaning of that quote is I guess, twofold in the sense that there was more to read.
There was more,
and there was looking at the this is a big divide in comics between the artwork, which is supposed to be telling the story as much as the words are. They weren't quite married at that point. There wasn't quite a harmony between what I was reading and what I was seeing. The Flash is running very fast. The Flash's thought bubble says, I'm running very fast. And then a spectator says, look how fast that guy's running. So this is beyond that in the sense that
lots of words in one panel.
No, but I think there is somewhere to get in sync where you get talkie issues, they call it.
Sure.
Where you get an issue of a ongoing saga, and you're like, oh my god, they're just gonna talk the entire time. What am I doing? Just reading? Why is this artist even?
I think one of the big things. I mean, I know I buy trades now, and it's really tough to find a trade of a story arc from pre-1972 because there weren't story arcs. I remember when I was a kid, when it became a 2-issue story arc, suddenly it was like, holy crap, I'm losing my crap right now because this is like going beyond this one issue.
But I gotta go to bed.
No, it's true.
But that's all right. But you know what? Looking back and reading a lot of those stories, the writing was a bit hokey and this and that, but they got a lot more said to you and done. Like, I don't know if I could take a 6-month story arc of Mysterio.
Let me just say, when I was a little kid, if I got to the end of a Spider-Man comic and it said, to be continued, I'd be like, I don't understand. Like, what do I have to do now? Do I have to buy another?
Did they
comic?
hold you back in school? No, like did you?
No.
Okay,
No, but it's like
I'm just
I
asking.
didn't. I was so lost. It's
It
like,
happens to some
how
people,
can
I'm
it
just saying.
not be done in one issue? Like I didn't understand the concept.
I only paid 25 cents.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I want because in the 80s, all stories started and ended in one issue. Yeah. And if it was a 2-parter, like you said, it was a big deal.
It was huge.
Here's the thing, like if I wanted to read something that had lots of words, I would read a book.
But
like not a comic. Like I'm reading a comic because me like pictures.
But here's the thing.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's what built these characters, though. That's why Superman has lasted 70 years. That's why Batman's lasted 70 years. It's because our grandparents read those.
I'm not trying to say that quantity is better than quality. What I'm trying to say, though, is that if I have 20 minutes to spare and I want to read a story, I know if I pick up a modern-day 2014 comic, I'm going to read
for $7.
I'm going to read for $7. I'm going to read 20 minutes. I'm going to get 4 panels per page, 2 balloons per page, and I'm going to get to the end. It's going to say, to be continued next month. And that storyline is going to go on for 2 years, it's never going to end. I know that if I go back and read a 1970s or 1980s story, that story is going to be done in one. And I'm going to walk away and I'm going to feel satisfied because I've read an entire story.
But that's the same thing you're talking about. Are you just verbal diarrheing all over the page?
It's not,
and trying to challenge the artist to suck up all that information.
Bingo.
Because it's no. And I'm not saying that it isn't inspiring. It's not an inspiring, cool story. It can be.
I think it's more from the houses like Marvel and DC and Dark Horse, whoever. I remember back in the day when it crossed over into 2 or 3 different titles, you were like, "Oh my god, I'm losing my crap right now." Now it's like, seriously, I gotta follow that to understand the story.
But Jamie, the thing is this: you have the option to continue reading, continue buying, or not.
No,
that's why I stopped with Marvel. Was because I just
when you read a story today and you get to the end of the issue, and if you're reading Spider-Man and it says to be continued in Avengers number whatever, you're forced to read Avengers to understand what happens in Spider-Man.
No, actually, you're not.
Yes, you are, because
if the story was good enough,
but
you want to continue reading.
First of all, it's
if the
not.
story was crap, you'd say like, fuck that.
Exactly.
I'm not going to buy the next issue for
But the
$4
point is,
or
though, is
whatever,
that
right?
back in the old days, you would read one issue of Spider-Man and have the whole story, and that's all you needed. Now, Marvel and DC are trying to tell these gigantic meta stories that take place over 50 different titles. You have to read every different title by 50 different writers. And they're not all as good.
If it's once every 5-10 years,
yeah.
That's
Once
amazing.
In a while, maybe.
I'll do it.
But
I'll
the
throw
point
in.
is,
But when it's
that,
every summer, it's like, oh, here's your big thing. Oh my god.
Okay, one thing to say, George. Can you imagine if you tuned in right now? I'm going to watch Seinfeld right now. Oh, to find out how this joke turns out, you have to tune into Big Bang Theory. Do you know how?
I love Big Bang Theory.
Do you know how frustrated you would be by that?
I would watch it.
No.
But you've also got to watch Gilmore Girls.
Yeah,
You've also got to watch this.
And you have to watch CSI
this.
Miami. The point is that everything should be self-contained.
You couldn't be more wrong. With what happens at the cookies at the end of what? Iron Man to Thor
Dark
to
World.
what's going on in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Bullshit.
When you see, what was it, the cocoon of...
I saw that.
At the end of at the end of Thor Dark World.
When you get Howard with his cigar,
the Defenders are coming.
and you're telling me that that's not
Christopher Nolan
something
said
that...
a real movie would not have a secret ending. A real movie would be self-contained, and I'm with Christopher Nolan.
Why didn't Star Wars do the same thing?
Okay, the movies I'm kind of...
Didn't they freeze him in
Harris
that's a different
Ford.
thing. Jamie, go ahead.
As much as what I said about with comics going on too long, I still love them all. I mean, I still buy them. But when there's subtle things that build up to the big combination, I believe the Defenders are coming, and the Guardians... Hold on.
Okay.
I think the Guardians of the Galaxy are the segue team between the Avengers and the Defenders. Marvel has Daredevil, Power Man, and Iron Fist. But there's also other things. Drax the Destroyer has a daughter that he talks about that was killed.
Yes.
What was her name? Moondragon. She was part of the Defenders.
But she was killed.
Yes, but she was also associated with the Inhumans, who, if you watch Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they've just discovered that this is a city they're looking for, which might be the city on the moon where the Inhumans live.
Yes.
Does this have anything to do with
Hold on.
And
at
the Walrus?
At the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, which we just reviewed, who was at the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck. Was he not a Defender?
Absolutely.
No, he was not.
Yes, he was.
Okay. He was in the later years.
Okay.
He was.
He was in there.
What the hell can you do, really?
The reason
it doesn't matter. When you look at the success of what Groot and Rocket Raccoon did for the film version of Guardians of the Galaxy, having Howard the Duck is going to be the Rocket Raccoon of the Defenders.
Basically, the reason why this
the Defenders are coming.
I gotta say
Mark
one
my
thing.
words, the Defenders
All
are
the
coming.
women watching the show want to sleep with you, and some of the guys.
P.S.
Go ahead.
Doctor Strange is also coming. He's the new Captain America for the Defenders.
Woo.
I want to see the Defenders movie.
You know what I don't want to see is like my hydro bill. It's probably
Hail Hydro!
Are we Hail Hydro?
Hail Hydro!
We're canceled. Thank you very much for our last episode. Thank you. Okay, so George is gonna give us a clap, and then we're going
Again.